Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM, brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 here in the flagship studios of the Memphis Grizzlies. I think they're getting ready to crank back up and take over our studio, but sitting behind the plexiglass is my show producer, Shelby McCall, and she, again, has on that shirt that is in some foreign language that I can't read. So it looks like it's Japanese, and I'm not going to ask her what it's on it, but it's fine and dandy. But I don't know how she has enough time to even come by here. But appreciate Ron Wong sitting in as our co-host.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Ron. And, of course, John Gordon would normally be here of Ducks Unlimited, but he is headed toward where this gentleman that's coming up next is based, out of Beaumont, Texas, and John's on his way to. He grew up in that area. John Gordon did. He's growing up, and he's heading to Texas. But we're really always glad to have Charlie Holder on the show with us. He's president and CEO for Sure Shot Game Calls, who has been a good part of Outdoors with Larry Ray for many, many years, particularly since 2011 when Charlie decided to make that step. Charlie, a graduate of MIT, an entrepreneur, wow, I've heard, and also a man who loves the outdoors, decided, sat down with the great and legendary Cowboy Fernandez and said, Cowboy told him, hey, you need to buy this company. And Charlie did. And now he has kept that legend alive. Sure Shot Game Calls, particularly, what's that certain game call, Charlie, that y'all are known for?
The Jensen.
That's it. I just wanted Charlie to say it because all you folks out there are
in Arkansas, it's called Yancey.
Yes.
but it's called the Jensen.
Well, I know there's some duck hunters in my listen this morning or check me out online or whatever it might be, and anytime they see that and they think of Cowboy Fernandez and the story. Well, folks, before we get into this, Charlie and the duck call business and all these things like that, he has been happy to donate to Outdoors with Larry Ray a Jensen limited edition duck call. And we're going to give this away on today's show. And here's what you got to do. The first person, you better be a duck caller, but you might not be, but the first person that emails me at lroutdoors@att.net, and when you email it, you put the header up there, Sure Shot, you're going to win this thing. And it's about $150 prize. It is beautiful. Oh, man, I've duct taped it.
Dang, I wish I could win it.
Well, that's okay. I've duct taped it to my wall, trying not to take it out of there, in my man cave. But what a nice gift. Charlie, I know these are crazy times. I know you've had some family loss in your family and your wife's side of the family, but duck hunting goes on. And so we're asking you, from us poor duck hunters up here in the Mid-South, can we have our ducks back, Charlie? Are they down there with you? Where are they?
We do have some, yes. And,
I lost you, Charlie. I thought that I'd offended you or something, and you left. So,
well, I had to get my phone off mute. Good morning, guys. We've got some, and we had a really good first split. And it looks like hopefully we get some more cold fronts coming through. It's going to push some more down here where we are, the Central Mississippi Flyway.
Well, can we have a few? Can we just leave I got Mike Checkett of DU on next week's show because I've heard they're all in Missouri. I've heard they're all down south in Louisiana and Texas. And we got guys out there beating their brains out right now, drinking coffee and eating sweet rolls. And we're waiting for our ducks to come back, Charlie. So I just wanted to make a plea. If you have any handle in that, you can send a few back our way.
Well, okay? We'll get a few guys out to help, and we'll drive them to the east for y'all. We'll move them out of the flyway and get them over there to you.
Well, talk about this year from your perspective, Charlie. I know it's been a crazy year. How about Sure Shot? How have things gone? Have you been able to adapt to what's going on? Can you get your products? I noticed on the website a lot of them says sold out. So talk to our listeners out there if they're looking for that Christmas present and they want to go to Sure Shot Game Calls. Talk about how it's been for your company which is one of the most well-known in the industry. Talk about it.
You know, we've been doing okay. The sold out products we have, it's because of the sales we've had this year.
There you go.
It's been really good for us. The pandemic has pushed a lot of people to buy online.
There you go. Yeah.
And that we're a premier spot on the web for a lot of the hunting things that we sell, and so therefore we were in a good position, and we've been able to take full advantage of it. We've more than doubled our sales this year, and been very, very appreciative, and more than we deserve as far as being blessed. Sales have been great. People are wanting to get out and get in the outdoors. They're willing to spend the money to get out there, and we've been the recipient of that. And it's been a very blessed year for us to be able to provide everybody what they need.
And it's not just older folks either. As we've talked about, and Ron has talked about, we're getting more younger fishermen. We're getting more younger deer hunters. And
yes.
I'm seeing pictures of some young kids in the duck blind learning that. And that's during these times, that's probably one of the bright spots, we can say.
Yes, sir. It has been. We've seen across the board. It's been very, very good. And so that classic cowboy, though, just to backtrack a little bit, what you're giving away today is a commemorative call that Cowboy and I actually sat down and we talked about several times a few years before his passing.
Really?
And we discussed that call. That signature on there is actually from him. He did the laser for us so that we could get that that put on a call. We talked about what we were going to do, 60th anniversary, and so he knew all that was going to be occurring, and that's a working call. We'll never do that one again. That will be one and only, and we're very proud, and we hope that we've done a good job in honoring him with that.
Well, I'm looking at even the little the thing that the call goes into. It's got that autograph, as you said, James Fernandez, Cowboy, and that he started in 1959. And you guys, when you took it over, I think he opened the door himself the day that you went by to see him. And it's kind of a made in Hollywood type story. I don't know, Charlie, about the way this came about and the way that your career has evolved. So talk about that relationship between you and Cowboy.
Well, the difference is he had a mind for innovation. He was a great salesman, but his strong point was the mind for innovation and getting hunters what they needed. That's why that double read was so imperative.
Yes.
That came out because
First
it gave
everybody
an opportunity to have a call that they could pick up literally the first time and then 5 minutes, and they could sound like a duck without having to put months and months of practice into a single read championship call and learn how to use it. That's what the double read was for, and it doesn't stick and it doesn't get wet and freeze. And so it's a working man's utility tool, kind of like the old shotgun, the pump that just never stops, never stops working and cycling. And that's what that Jensen call was made for. And that's the difference for Cowboy and myself is he was an innovator, constantly coming up with products like our deer grunt calls and our predator calls, our squirrel call and the goose calls and all the different types of calls that we have, whereas for me, my strengths are being able to tell the story and communicate like you, a communicator, and being able to get out, that story. And him and I had a conversation once before his passing, and I told him, I said, I have no desire to go and create new stuff. Of course, we came out with the Jensen 1-2, and that was with his grandson's help, who's got an engineering degree.
Yeah, Curtis, right?
My job, Curtis, that's right.
Yeah.
And my job is to to tell that story, and that's what I am. I'm the head storyteller for Sure Shot.
Well, you've also got a radio background too, so let's face that too. I've got the radio face, that's for sure, and the radio has enabled me to to do what this has been doing for almost 20 years now. And again, we're talking to Charlie Holder, our good friend, is president and CEO for Sure Shot Game Calls. And I know, Charlie, that when it came down to this, I don't know if Cowboy ever in his wildest dreams think that somebody in Ukraine or New Zealand or Australia will be blowing one of his duck calls. That's
well, he definitely tried to sell it to anybody. You know, he would have sold it to he'd have tried to sell it to a mallard hen if she'd have bought it. So.
Well, I mean, maybe so, but and the amazing thing about this prize, folks, and I hope someone's already done it. I haven't looked. LR Outdoors at att.net and put Sure Call in there. It includes a picture, and there's Charlie right there with Cowboy right in front. And there's Curtis. And I look at this picture, and it just says it's a great card. Everybody looks happy. Even I don't know when this picture was taken, how long before he passed, or whatever it might be. But my one regret is, I wished I could have talked to him on the radio. I'm sure you did, and had a chance to visit with him, because I'd never heard of Nanderland, Texas. I did not know all these different kind of things. But
yep, Nederland, Texas.
Yeah,
and,
Nederland. Yeah.
What's interesting is he ran a guide outfitting company, and when you look at the history of even Ducks Unlimited, some of the founders are from right here where we are, near Winnie and Beaumont, Texas. The founders, Mr. Legault.
Yes.
Yeah. And several of those people. I mean, we've got a lot of that history right where we are. That's monumental. Just like Stuttgart, just like Tennessee and Reelfoot. That Texas has got its own set of bedrock tenets, foundation that really help with conservation and help with getting wetlands protected. And that's where we are. We're in that Mecca in that area, and that's where the double reed was invented. Like, we've always talked about, we're at the end of the flyway in the U.S., and it's no more difficult anywhere else than where we are to get birds to decoy and to commit. And if we can get a call, we can make a call that makes them commit here, then they'll commit anywhere.
Well, it's just amazing, the history of this company, and you kept the name. Was that ever talked about, and the name itself, the original, how did Sure Shot become the name of the company?
So when Cowboy won the World Championship in 1959 with the Jensen, Mr. Jensen, he willed him the company. When he decided that it needed some changes, the call was a double reed, but he said you had to hook an air compressor up to make it blow. It was not a user-friendly product.
All right.
And him and several of the folks around locally, other guides and outfitters, got together on their off time, and they put a bunch of work into that, changing the tone board, the peg, and the reeds and the system that it went in. And they were hand carving all of those back then. And so when they finally found it and figured it out, he went on the road and started winning contests. And then when he won the World Championship in 1959, he decided to form a company. Jensen was the call, and he had always said that he would honor the family's name by keeping Jensen as a part of that. And he figured, Sure Shot was a good name. It was a sure shot winner that anybody could pick it up and do it. And that's where he came up with that Sure Shot name. And we have no desire to change it. And just to backtrack a second, I met Cowboy my very first time, was on the radio show that I hosted.
Oh, really?
I co-hosted.
Okay. Yeah.
Co-hosted with Mr. Billy Halfin out of Beaumont, Texas. And when him and I did the show together, him and Cowboy is longtime friends, and Cowboy was my guest, and that's how I met Cowboy for the first time.
Really? Yeah.
Was on the radio show. Yes, sir.
Wow. Huh. Well, I've known of your cousin too. You do have a little connection to the outdoor rider field too, right? I mean, Ed Holder, isn't that your cousin?
Ed Holder. Yes, sir.
Well, that's when I looked that up, I did not realize that, and all of us old time outdoor riders kind of stick together. So is Curtis? Now, is he still involved in anything? Curtis?
Oh,
Arnold?
yes, sir. Curtis is Cowboy's
grandson,
and he's his favorite grandson. I like to say that because you could tell when Cowboy whenever he would talk about Curtis, he always had a twinkle in his eye, and
So
that call that we have, that call that's the 7-in-1 whistle that everybody likes to have on their duck lanyard.
Right. I got one of those you sent me. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's called the Rascal.
Yes.
And that was Curtis's nickname.
Oh, okay.
As a grandkid. So
Okay.
he was the Rascal, and that's where that call came from. But Curtis runs since 2011, when I retained him. He runs everything day to day. I mean, he's chief cook, bottle washer.
Is he really? Okay. All right.
He builds the calls.
Okay.
He actually was instrumental in making the 1-2 a product. He was instrumental in making the classic, bringing that back to the industry, like the way it used to be when they were hand carved. There is no way in the world that I could or would want to do it without his help, because he's a partner in crime and he's my right hand person.
All right.
He builds the calls, he ships the calls, he orders the products. He's a part of the team as far as procurement on vendors. He does everything but do the marketing, which is what we do in the social media team.
And is that him standing behind
it is
Cowboy?
The tall one. Uh-huh.
Okay, and the other guy is who's the other?
The other guy is Clint Crane. He's our other full-time member. He's been with us since 2011.
Okay.
He was a friend of Curtis's, and he was a waterfowler. But the reason we brought him in, because we needed him to do the tuning of the calls.
And he's a tuner.
His grandfather was Clint's grandfather was the lead guitarist for Bob Wills.
Come on, really?
And
wow.
He came in and we asked him to blow the calls, and he immediately just picked up right away. I guess it runs in his blood, and he plays guitar, and man, he knows how to tune those calls like Charlie Daniels. And so he's our chief tuner, and
wow.
he makes sure all of those calls go out the door with the perfect tone. And
Bob?
if something's wrong, they get on the phone with him. If somebody wants their call tuned a different way, they'll pick up the phone, they'll call Clint, and he'll do it while they're on the phone with them to make sure it's what they want.
Amazing.
And get it taken care of. So he's an integral part of our work as far as making sure that all of the calls go out and have the perfect tone to them.
Bob Wills, the Texas Plowboys. That's what he did.
Yeah. Clint's grandfather, he was lead guitarist. He just got put in the Hall of Fame locally. And then, as you know, Cowboy was put in the Hall of Fame in 2016. And so and then Ed Holder, who was my cousin, he was a 50-year outdoor rider.
Yes, he was.
He's in the Outdoor Rider Hall of Fame, and they got a boat ramp named after him here locally.
They'll probably have a cemetery named after me, I guess. I don't know. But Charlie Holder, thank you, man, on this Saturday morning. Hope everything gets better for your family. Wish you a great Merry Christmas and everything else. And again, folks, LR Outdoors at att.net. Sure Shot. That's all you got to do. The first one, when I get home after this and I check my emails, the first one gets this great value. Thanks, Charlie. Have a great day, buddy. Okay?
All right. Good luck to all the waterfowlers out there for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Charlie. All right. Let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Be right back.